Hey, how's it going? At about 5.5 years ago, Nvidia released the GTX 980 Ti for about $650 back in June of 2015. Fast forward today, and these cards can be picked up for around $200 on sites like eBay and Craigslist, even with the crazy price increase we've seen lately due to the high demand for computer parts at the moment. This makes this card an interesting deal, as even entry-level components like the GTX 1650, for example, are going for well above their MSRP if you're trying to look for something new at the moment. And puts the 980 Ti in an interesting position, as for some reason it hasn't been affected too badly by the overinflation of computer hardware at the moment, as while not as common as these entry-level parts, you can still find and buy secondhand 980 Ti's for reasonable prices, making them fantastic cards if you're looking to either upgrade or put together a gaming rig at the moment. Being a 3-generation-old flagship card, the 980 Ti is still powerful enough to handle almost most games at 1080p, and is still new enough to have relevant features like support for G-Sync and Nvidia Reflex for lower latency in games. The only real downside to this card is that it unfortunately only has 6GB of VRAM, and that it requires a decent 600 to 750 watt power supply depending on your computer. These are definitely downsides you're going to have to consider, as a lot of the newer cards, like the 1660, which performs about on par with this card, basically consumes half of the amount of power this thing uses. But unfortunately, those cards are well above their MSRP, so this actually makes for a pretty good alternative to those if you have a decent power supply that can handle the 980 Ti. And 6GB of VRAM can seem rather small, especially in the days, or these days, where a brand new 3090 can have 24GB of VRAM. But unless you're running like 4K ultra settings, you can realistically get away with that amount of VRAM if you're playing games at medium to high settings at 1080p, making them quite the bargain for only $200 if you can play basically any game at 1080p. But I've tested a bunch of games and provided a bunch of benchmarks, so I'll let you guys be the judge of that. But before we do jump into the benchmarks, I do want to note that this card was overclocked. I want to put that beefy Strix cooler to work, and with a mild overclock, this card really wakes up. For my testing, I saw a 15% gain in the Unigine superposition benchmark, and almost a 10 FPS gain in the Shadow of the Tomb Raider trial, just by increasing the core clock from 1100 MHz to 1380 MHz. So just take that into account when looking at these benchmarks. Not bad, right? Given that this card is almost 3 generations old and almost 6 years old, it's 5.5 years, this card definitely performed well above its weight for a $200 card at the moment. If you're looking to build, a PC right now for 1080p gaming, this is definitely a card you should consider. If you have a used market available, I'd highly recommend picking one of these up, and hopefully you can pick up a sort of higher end model and maybe overclock it a bit so you can get some just a little bit more FPS. Anyways, hopefully you found the video useful, and if you did, feel free to give it a like. Subscribe if you want to see some more, and hey, thank you so much for watching, and hopefully you have a good one. Take care now. Bye.